Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys, I'll be checking out Vivek Ramaswamy reacts to Don Lemon firing. And you guys, I'm super excited as always. If you're here to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
The last two big talk shows that you appeared on was Don Lemon on CNN and Tucker Carlson, and they both were fired, hours after appearing on, having you as a guest, to talk about this identity crisis and about kind of bringing people together. Let's run that clip, Zach, that you have of the Don Lemon discussion, because I think this comes to bear on these questions of national identity, Vivek, and what you're putting at the foreground of your presidential run. So let's look at this clip real quick.
And let me just note that this is, edited down for time, but we have the links to everything in the description.
We fought a civil war in this country to give black Americans the equal protection under the law that we failed to secure them in 1776. But then you want to know what happened? Southern states passed anti-gun laws that stopped black people from owning guns. The Democrat Party then, as in now, wanted to put them back in chains.
That war was not fought for black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for black people to have freedoms in this country. Yeah. Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought.
Okay.
And the sad part about it,
fought for black people to have guns. I think.
Actually, you know, funny fact is, black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that's one of the lessons that we learned.
Aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law.
And you live in this country, then you can disagree with me, but we're not.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate without me regarding you as a black man, but me regarding you as a fellow citizen.
You're sitting here, whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity I'm,
what it's like to be black.
Whatever ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
The content of the ideas.
You should do it in an honest way.
You should be proud of your skin color.
And let's note that according to the New York Times, this might have been one of the last straws for Don Lemon. They write here that the incident left several CNN leaders exasperated. So just before we get into the substance of your disagreement with Don Lemon there, what's your reaction to his dismissal?
I mean, look, I think that depends on the mission of your organization. If the mission of your organization is to foster a particular worldview, in this case, a woke worldview, and to advance that, that's a perfectly legitimate. We live in a free country. You're allowed to start an enterprise where that's your purpose. Don Lemon would make a great host. But if your stated mission of your organization is what Chris Licht, the new CEO of CNN, says their mission is to foster diverse viewpoints and actually engage in the purveyance of news and opinions that are diverse in nature on your programs, then Don Lemon would not be a good host if he shouts down guests on the basis of the color of their skin, saying they can't make those arguments, and you didn't have the segment where he was also shouting at his producers and preventing his co-host from getting into the conversation. So it depends on what the mission of your organization is. CNN has stated its missions. I think it would be very consistent with that mission for them to find a better anchor than Don Lemon. So I'm happy to have played the final role in squeezing the lemonade out of the lemon and moving on with it. So I think more debate's what we need.
What's your pitch to Black America? Though, because most blacks are blacks. The share of black votes that went to the GOP went up a little bit under Trump in the second term, but basically since Eisenhower in his second term, it's rare when a Republican candidate can get 10% of the black vote. What's your pitch to Black America as you're casting about for a new national identity?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is I don't view there as being one Black America, just like there's no one white America or one Indian American America. I reject that premise at the outset. But why do we take a look at this demographic that tends to vote Democrat? Right. I think a big part of the problem is Republicans have not explained what our intentions are. And I say our, I mean, I'm an America First conservative. I am using the Republican Party as a vehicle to advance my set of ideals. I'm very open about that. I'm not a partisan politician or hack. I could care less for political partisanship. Most of it bores me, but we're playing the game of presidential politics. Let's talk about the Republican Party. I think let's look at the facts. I mean, Lyndon Johnson created a so-called great society. It's the biggest misnomer in modern political history. That wasn't a very great society for the very black people it was supposed to help. Paid mothers government money to have an incentive to get the dad out of the house so they could make more money. Uncle Sam's better for me than you over here. Maybe I'll marry him instead. So how you get to over 70% of black kids being born into two-parent households in the 1960s to less than 30% today, you get what you pay for, is the answer to that. And I think it's an affront. I don't think that's been good for black Americans across the country.
But isn't it also true, the reason, I mean, you know, and I'm thinking of somebody like Jackie Robinson, who in 1960 campaigned for Richard Nixon, in 1964 campaigned for Democrats because Republicans voted against the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act of the mid-60s, when much of the country was still under legal segregation, where it was illegal to serve blacks and whites equally. It was illegal for blacks to go to certain schools and things like that. And it strikes me as, you know, kind of, if you start the clock in 1968 or 1972, it's one thing, but, you know, this, I mean, I think this is part of the Republican problem with an appeal to black Americans, is that, yeah.
I mean, that's ancient history at this point for the partisans.
No, it is literally, if you're talking about, you know, Lyndon Johnson, you know, we're talking about the 60s, and Barry Goldwater in 64.
Fair enough.
You know.
I was talking about Lyndon Johnson because many of those policies are still in effect today, right? Civil Rights Act did pass, and there's broad consensus in favor of the Civil Rights Acts today. I think that there should not be, in my opinion, broad consensus around the vestiges of Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. So that's the distinction I draw. Sure. I mean, the Republican Party is the party that was the abolitionist party, and in the post-Reconstruction era also wanted to put guns in the household of black Americans so they could actually secure those civil rights, as I was talking about in that clip. So go back, I mean, these parties, like I said, these labels mean very little if you go far enough back. Parties have flip-flop. But what I say is that the policies I care about want to go to the root causes. Restore the nuclear family structure as a cultural norm in this country, including in black America. Restore a focus on education. School choice is a big part of this. Empowering many black families that are trapped in ghetto-like communities for their kids to be trapped in those schools. And I use that word intentionally to provoke the point that we're really confining people to the public school systems where they live without school choice programs. Democrats are the ones who are opposed to school choice programs, right?
That was the Reason live stream with Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running for the Republican nomination for president and has just published Capitalist Punishment, a book-length diatribe against ESG and other aspects of what he considers woke capitalism. If you want to watch the full conversation, go here. If you want to watch another excerpt, go here. And come back next Thursday, every Thursday at 1 p.m. when Zach Weismuller and I are talking to somebody even more interesting than the last week. Thanks for watching.
Wow, you guys, that was such an interesting session with Vivek Ramaswamy. I mean, this guy is such an intelligent fellow, and I'm glad that he was the one that actually squeezed John Lemon's juice before he was fired from CNN. Vivek Ramaswamy really squeezed John Lemon, dried with his fat, the truth that he spilled in that interview. And if you guys have not seen that interview that Vivek Ramaswamy had with John Lemon, you should definitely see that. It was such a heated one that Don has to cut the show because he couldn't handle the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy was spilling the whole truth because he wasn't a black man. The thing I don't like about black Americans is that every little opportunity they get, they just pull out that black card, hoping that they can pass and hoping that everything should be handed to them on a platter of gold. It doesn't work like that anywhere. You cannot just cut off a show because you feel that because Vivek Ramaswamy is not a black man, so he doesn't have any opinion concerning what is happening. Like, he can't state the fact anymore. Don Lemon actually acted like a kid on that show and he didn't do well. He couldn't handle the truth. I love the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy stood so close to his face and spilled the truth and said the fact, and Don Lemon could not handle it, so he has to end that show. It was such an interesting one, and I love to hear Vivek Ramaswamy speak. That man is so intelligent. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And let me know your thoughts on this video. And what baffles me is that Don Lemon's boyfriend is actually a white man, yet he feels that white people shouldn't speak because they don't live in his particular skin color. That is very ridiculous. And oh my gosh, you guys, let me know what you guys think about this video. I really had fun reacting to Vivek Ramaswamy. If you guys enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And this is me officially signing out. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.